Hi everyone, my name is Sunny and today's pick a card is in regards to your next family meeting. So how would it go? So I have 3 piles you may choose from left to right. I have pile 1, 2, and 3. So remember, if you need more time, you're more than welcome to pause the video and then select the piles, sorry, of your choice, and I will see you there. So I will go ahead and start with pile number 1. Let me move these up. Okay, so pile number 1, you guys have the Page of Cups reversed, followed by the 3 of Wands reversed. So your next family meeting, I think it's not going to be very emotional. Like maybe it's just your family, like either your family typically is much more closer, or emotional in the sense that you guys can approach each other and talk about stuff, like anything on your mind and stuff, and they won't really feel like it's like you're not feeling that judgment coming from them. So maybe this time around either dynamics have changed, or they've always been that kind of family that's been a little bit more at a distance, at arm's length, in that sense, where it's like cold or more I don't know why I want to say brittle, but it's just, it feels like it's sensitive in the way where it's a sensitive topic for you, because you really want to not have to ruffle feathers, or just you don't want to really be outcasted, because maybe you're much more sentimental, or maybe you're just trying to be different, like, heal those childhood wounds, and they make it difficult for you, right, to be a better person when they don't want to change their ways, right? So maybe that could be it. But I just think there's this iciness in the air, or you feel like you have to be distant, or maybe they are at a distance too. So you're looking at the big picture of that. Maybe that's why your next family meeting, for example, could be like it even if it's not in person, I think it could be like, example, you guys do FaceTime calls and stuff on holiday time, for example, and it's distant, it feels cold, but there's some warmth in there, in that sense. Or it could be you could be in person meeting with them, and you still feel that like coldness. There's maturity here, but it feels like maybe over time, I feel that they've grown maybe a little bit more restrictive with their emotions. Maybe that's what it's basically saying. So your next meeting might just not feel that very warm and lovey-dovey like what you might have experienced once upon a time, a long time ago, as a child or a teenager. Maybe there's distance like that, or maybe you guys have cut off communication for extended periods of time, and every now and then you meet together, but it still feels kind of aloof and distant and troublesome to kind of connect with each other. And maybe when you guys do talk about stuff, the big picture of things, not really so much more meticulous conversations, I do think you kind of keep it light and simple in that way, just because you guys don't see eye to eye, specifically with one person or several people. And I think it's particularly with one person, but to each their own if it's several. But I do think that maybe you just keep it's just business, right? So it's not so much for pleasure. It's like, oh, we get together because we have a purpose, like example, like helping out your parents with household stuff, right? With bills, or helping out when they're sick and stuff. So maybe that could be the reason why you guys get together, not so much because like, hey, let's hang out, I miss you kind of thing. It just feels like it's a distant relationship with a purpose, a relationship that needs that grew kind of cold with time. Or it could be just that you just talk about business, even at that. Maybe if your family has a family business, you guys just get together for deals, or stuff that needs to change, and keep kind of cold hard cash, right? Cold hard cash concepts. So basically you guys just talk about that, and not so much like, oh, how have you been, how's your wife, how's your kids, how's your pets, how's your trips, how's your health. Like, it just feels that that's not where you guys go. So that's how more or less your next family meeting will be. So thank you, pile number 1. Next, pile number 2, you guys have the ace of cups upright, followed by the 8 of cups reversed. So your next family meeting, let me just take a sip of water before I continue. I notice that I tend to drink more water typically around pile 2 or 3. So for pile number 2, you guys have a nicer energy, I feel, compared to pile number 1. I feel that you guys have this, it feels like going back, you're going back to cycles, but it feels like it's more on the positive side. Sorry for the airplane sound. But yeah, I just think you guys go back to cycles. So I think maybe you guys. I think maybe you guys go back to remembering memories or going down memory lane of things that you guys enjoyed. Maybe you're talking with like your elders in the family, or maybe your cousins. It doesn't also have to be older people, but you're kind of going back to that soft emotional space where, yeah, I remember I did that, or yeah, you did that with, so and so, and like ha ha ha, he. So it feels warm and fuzzy feelings, but you're kind of just remembering. I think you're overflowing with emotion. Maybe you're sentimental because you haven't seen them, not for a long time, but you haven't seen them as much as you could have. Or maybe it's restrictive, like in the sense where you can't see everyone at the same time. Doesn't mean you don't see them. I just feel more so for this pile, you see them but not all together. So when you guys get together, it's emotional for you. Like example, holiday time, like Christmas or New Year's, and you feel like very like nice, because even as time changes, like you guys are still close, very close connected family. I just think that the test of time has endured quite well with you and your family, and it's nice. I just think that you enjoy that. And sure, maybe there's a few tears, or maybe there's like example, someone, like you could be the person who ends up showing up to the family function, and you give them the surprise of like, oh, we're expecting soon, or oh look, you guys finally get to meet our child, or your fur baby, and you want to show them that they're part of that world that you brought into light, right, into the world, or that change that felt like it brought new emotions into you, that stirred up your heart. So maybe that's why they're all much more closer, or that it feels warmer in that sense, because there's new light that came into the family. Or maybe you have a deeper connection, stronger, because you guys endured challenges together, and now you're closer than ever. Maybe it doesn't always have to be lovey-dovey, but more so you started from a point where things weren't always sorry, I want to sneeze. You started from a point where maybe you guys were okay, but you had to work through those emotions. And once you work through those emotions, you finally have maturity in that, and you guys remember like, oh wow, like we started from a point where we could just barely tolerate each other, to now be more tolerable, and now like we're much more emotional, or we tolerate that physical connection, where it's like maybe you or some people in the family don't always enjoy having like hugs and kisses and all that stuff, and now you tolerate it, right? So there's this closeness and that aspect that you guys didn't have before, because it was very maybe specific to certain people, not everybody, and now people don't mind as much. It just feels like you guys are remembering what it's like to feel connected to people. Maybe you were surrounded by work all the time, or like people that were always on a certain like not go workaholic, but more so if you have a certain lifestyle that you've upkept, it made it difficult for you to connect to your family, keep you grounded. Like the foundation was very important. So maybe now that you have more time, or some event in your life happened that you finally realized what's really important, you're cherishing them a lot more than you used to. So this family function is really like an eye-opener for you to really remember the good things that happened to you with them, right? So just take that with a grain of salt. So thank you, pile number 2. Next, pile number 3, you guys have the 6 of Pentacles upright, followed by the 2 of Wands upright. I'm sorry. Whew. Okay, so pile number 3, your next family function, it feels like, why is it giving? Not like it's giving, but it's very giving, it's forgiving, it's compassionate, it's understanding. So why is this like monetary? Is it a stable connection you have? I feel the previous piles were a little bit more smoother than this one, in the sense where I could pick up the message a lot faster, and I feel I'm like, I think for this one, going back to them feels like, are you going up, like, I just feel like maybe it's a holiday, like, it doesn't have to be Christmas, but it could be Easter, for example, or a birthday. It doesn't, like, you know, where you show up with gifts and everyone's excited, or you show up with something and they feel like you completed the puzzle, right? So for this one, I feel that maybe you're a little bit more charitable, or you're feeling in the, what's it, the holiday spirit, there you go, and you just, you know, you're not feeling like very Scroogey. So that could be some ways you can understand that. I just think, with the Six of Pentacles, maybe you're feeling, yeah, I just feel like you're very giving, or maybe your family is very giving with you, where they welcome you with open arms. Not necessarily that they didn't before, but it feels like the holiday season makes them feel like they're more open to being giving of their own stuff, like whether they give you food to take home and like feed you till like you can't eat anymore, or give you a bunch of nice little cute presents and mementos and stuff like that, memories that you'll cherish, pictures, and you know, all these nice little cute stuff that you could have with them, compared to their regular daily life. It doesn't mean they're not like they're stingy and stuff. It just feels more so that they have to get into that like mainstream holiday spirit, maybe, of like, 'tis the season, like, you know, Hallmark movie kind of stuff. Because generally they're the kind of people who tend to, they're there for you and they're supportive, but like that emotional connection might not be as easily accessible all the time, because they're focused on, you know, their own lives and their own gain, and then once they have what they needed to obtain, they go back to, you know, the foundations that they have with their family. So maybe that could be it. Just their focus isn't always their family, it could be themselves sometimes. So you going back to them might feel nice in that way. So with this Two of Wands reversed, no, it's not reversed. Why did I say that? With this Two of Wands, upright, I think I think this pile is a lot more, I don't know why I want to say it's like a very, when I say dominant family, I think of like ethnic, like example, like imagine a Italian family, or like an Asian family that's like, well, everyone who's on the older side tends to have a stronger opinion and voice. So, you know, what they say kind of goes, and like everyone's always like, you know, not over trying to like be like outspeak the other person, but more so, I'm having like trouble basically defining this, but basically like it took, maybe for example, it took a lot from your part to reach out to them, maybe because of pride, or maybe because it's not easy for you to travel to them, or maybe it's not easy because, you know, they have their own health issues, for example, or maybe you have a busy schedule, or you know, you're looking at like details of stuff. So meeting with them makes you feel like you missed them, right? Like it just feels like you're staring out far away, or maybe reaching out through social media, for example, too, might have been a lot of work, especially with this pentacle energy. And when I say that, like previously I said like a strong family, I feel that they're very close together, or in a sense where they have a lot of say in not your lifestyle, but more so they have a lot of say in how you think about doing things and executing them. Like you consider their opinions first too, not just like, well, I'm gonna go and like, you know, to this place and, you know, I'm gonna do this. Like, no, you're like, well, would my aunt so and so want a souvenir, or like would I invite my cousins, or would I want to go and like take some pictures, or like bring him over, like, like it's one of those things where you consider their opinions, or like, oh, my uncle so and so said, like, if you travel here, don't go to this spot, it's like terrible service or something. So you really do consider their opinions in some ways, so maybe that could be it. But I just feel like you feel extra generous, or they're feeling extra generous with you, and maybe you have some extra cash and you basically buy them stuff, or maybe they are the ones that have extra cash and they give you some nice little cute gifts for you to take back home. It just feels that there's a strong bond here. There's a strong bond between you and your family, but it feels like not stronger than the previous pals, but it feels like very, I want to say, like, not masculine, but how could I say this type of strong-minded? There you go. It's just strong-minded with this wand and pentacle. I just feel they're very strong personalities in that sense, basically. So maybe in that sense where you do see eye to eye, but I just feel that you go about things differently, and each person has their own way of going about it, and they're right, and someone else is right. So it's like, stuff like that. That's the kind of personality they might have. But I do think overall with this next family function, it'll be kind of peaceful. I don't feel it's gonna be too stressful for you. It just kind of makes you laugh here and there because of their humor, maybe, or maybe I just think you end. The reason why I want to say it's calm, it's because I feel you're dealing with older people. For the majority of the people in your family, I feel that they're already on their upper 30s. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, sure, there could be kids, but I don't feel it's like too many. I just feel that majority of the people in your family are already above their 30s, so they're like more chill in that sense, where they're not going to be so disruptive, like, I broke this, or maybe they did, but, or like they're running around and you have to keep tabs on them. Like, they can handle themselves and look after themselves. So you're just kind of mellowing out. You're enjoying like your nice little wine with them, or maybe you're enjoying a nice little coffee and some sweet bread, or your snacks. You can also enjoy like a nice little fancy meal, and you take it slower. You enjoy that. This pile feels like your next family function is going to be like, you might travel for them and it could be fast, but then once you're with them, time starts going slower, or you enjoy that and take the back seat and not be so like in a fast mood, like, let me finish this, or we gotta finish that. It's like, finish fast this other thing when it comes to food, for example, or like, for example. So maybe you guys just take it slow, enjoy the time that you're spending with them, and it feels nice. So it feels like refreshing energy of like, you guys are just being generous with each other, considerate of each other. You guys are just enjoying that overall. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I appreciate you all, and to my subscribers and viewers, thank you for watching me, and I'll see you in a different video. So bye, everybody.